New things are coming to the Sea of Thieves, and I think I have found what is on the horizon. After getting through some tedious tasks and interesting encounters, I had fallen upon some hidden secrets, and today I will share with you all I know whilst giving you my take on what I believe these messages mean. Also, I'll help you not make the same mistake I did and save you a lot of time. I'm Captain Daddy, and whilst you enjoy this tale, let me know what you think all of this means in the comments below. But for now, let's start from the top in a most familiar place. Waking up after a good night of grog drinking, I decided to fill my pockets with items from nearby barrels. However, whilst doing so, I was once again beckoned to hear what Lorina had to say. Since last time, there had been more developments in Tasha's curse, and Madame Olivia once again required my help. Now, as you know, I am an upstanding citizen, when I want to be. However, my journey to meet them at Plunder Outpost would not be so easy. After heading out, I had already spotted a level 5 Reaper sailing around, and I hoped that they were looking to stay well away from me. However, judging by the map, it looked like I had not gone unnoticed as they began to head in my direction. If things couldn't get any worse, as they sailed closer to me, the sea turned black and my ship stopped moving as the Kraken had decided that I was a valuable target for her. Wrapping herself around my ship whilst I continued to blast my cannons at these giant tentacles. Whilst keeping my ship afloat, I managed to fend off against her to live another day. However, now a fog was rolling over the seas and cutting off line of sight from the previously seen Reapers, working in my favour, so I made a beeline to Plunder in hopes of no more encounters. But you guessed it, that was not the case. Whilst I pulled up to the outpost, another sloop was already there, and as I sailed over cautiously, I called out to them that I was just on an adventure. And to my surprise, they asked me to board their ship, as they told me they were brand new to the seas, and I was glad to have met them. They asked me about merchant quests and where to find chicken coops for their task, and I helped them on their way before once again entering the tent of Madame Olivia and hearing what she had to say. Inside, I was greeted by the skull of a former friend of Tasha's, mentioned previously as Briggsy, bearing a mask that apparently belonged to this fallen pirate. The mask was given to me along with a journal which laid out a path for me to follow and hunt for clues in search of a cure for this skeleton curse that was taking hold of Tasha. After looking through this old diary, it appeared that the last 2 pages had been removed, so before I sailed off to the Crooked Masts, my first destination before Old Fateful Isle and then finally Marauder's Ark, I had to hope that these would lead me to whatever is missing from these notes. But it's these notes that would show things yet to come. I set sail ready to see what would unfold on this journey, and upon wearing Briggsy's mask, everything turned red. However, for now, it just blurred my vision. But following this journal, I was advised to wear it whilst in certain spots, ready to look up at the stars, which seems odd to me. But sure, I guess it won't hurt to try it. It was a long voyage there, and once I had arrived at the island, a storm had rolled over, making my life that little bit more difficult. Once on land, I put on the mask and looked up to the sky, spotting an incomplete constellation. So upon manoeuvring to a better position to complete the patterns in the stars, showing an owl, a voice began speaking to me, talking of her findings and what she, Briggsy I believe this to be, was thinking when she had found this. Whilst digging there, I also found a key, and on the island were 2 more dig spots once I had lined up the stars. One showing a butterfly, and the other a mountain range. However, upon digging there, I found a chest. After hearing more of what Briggsy had to say, it was time to head on over to Old Fateful Isle. Upon arriving, I was fired at from the towers, so I climbed up and took out the skeleton trying to stop me entering this place, before searching for what felt like so long. I swear I was standing in the right places, looking for more stars, but yet nothing was seen, and I even questioned if I was on the correct island. I'd finally given up and got back to my ship, deciding to just open the chest I received from the first island. I was not aware that the piece inside the chest was a section of a talisman I had received from Madame Olivia at the start. And this was the key to progressing forward, whilst upon getting back onto the island, I could now see clearly the spider constellation, digging up another key and hearing more of Briggsy's thoughts. After this, on the southwest side of the island, I found the Panther Star formation, finding yet another key before seeing in the sky the palm tree. Whilst digging one more fancy chest, which, yes, this time I took straight to my ship and opened it up, and took out another fragment for this talisman. The final island from this book was Marauder's Ark, and as I sailed up to it, narrowly avoiding a skeleton galleon, I headed out and found in the skies an hourglass, and by my feet the first key of this island. However, right next to where my ship was parked, happened to be right where I saw the Fox constellation, and the second key. But now all I needed was the chest, which was said to be on top. Trying to get there, some ocean crawlers decided to jump in, attempting to halt my progress, but they were soon taken down before I could see the stars forming a waterfall as I dug out our third and final chest mentioned in the journal. Upon opening this chest, I had completed the amulet, but I thought it right only to give it to Briggsy, as she could help me understand, as it turned out that she was not just a memory but an ethereal form of herself, which was the start of all of the confusion. As I handed it over, a portal to another world opened, and out hopped a hooded woman going by the name of a warsmith. A sinister character she was, and neither of us trusted her, but she spoke of a cure inside of a temple. However, to receive it, Briggsy had no choice but to go with her, leaving behind a cannonball of sorts and the torn out final pages of Tasha's journal. These showed an ancient temple underwater, filled with many enemies leading to a cure, however mentioning a vast amount of treasure along the way. More worryingly though, particularly for Briggsy, the final pages talked of a scary monster behind the gate, which Briggsy didn't want to let out originally. But now there was nothing I could do, and Briggsy's fate was out of my hands. So I sailed back to Plunder to tell Madame Olivia and Tasha everything that happened. I sailed through with no issues, and upon arriving back at the outpost, I learned that this cannonball was something to help stop the spread of Tasha's curse for now, and these Dark Brethren, who I have not heard of before but accepted that they were most likely known amongst the seas by many, held all the cards in this whole ordeal, and for now, all we could do was wait. Looking back at all this, I had a great time. However, as I thought more about those pages in the journal, I had a thought of something maybe coming that pirates inside the Sea of Thieves could partake in. Madame Olivia is still working to help Tasha, and also now Briggsy, and knowing the powers of the Order of Souls, I believe that quite soon we will have to go on a rescue mission for her. However, maybe there are many of these temples, and we must find which is the correct one. But once inside, we would have to battle through many enemies, trying to stay alive and collecting many treasures along the way, until the final room that we reach, although filled with many chests and gold, also contains one big bad enemy which pirates would have to fight together to take down and destroy. Some of these may be having chances to drop really rare items, maybe a new spyglass, some new clothing, or who knows what. But if this is so, as I believe it to be, I am looking forward to taking on these, almost similar to dungeons in something called World of Warcraft. But after all, this is just speculation. Do you feel the same? Do you have any other theories, or do you believe I'm looking too far into it? As always, don't forget to check out my Twitch channel and join my Discord to keep up with my tales. And why not watch my previous one where I spent 100 days as a merchant inside the Sea of Thieves. I'm Captain Daddy, and until next time, arrgh!